Welcome to MMA Monday number 2 here on the podcast. And what an exciting weekend it has been. Two big events. Well, one really big event and then one championship as well. So we'll be talking about two events that happened this past weekend, which were ONE Championship Unbreakable, and then, of course, UFC257, the last fight on Fight Island in Abu Dhabi, with the main event of Conor McGregor versus Dustin Poirier. And usually I would try to slowly build up and then end with the main event, the super fight, of course. But I mean, there's no way around. We have to start with UFC 257 with Poirier versus McGregor. Let's just start with the main event right away. First, it was pretty cool to hear fans again, and they said there are only 2,000 fans in there or something like this. It sounded like all of Ireland was there once again, like usual when McGregor fights. So it was pretty cool. It sounded really nice, like all those ole 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 chants and so on. It was really cool to hear fans again, and everyone who said, I like watching UFC better without the fans because then I can hear what happens in the corner and you can hear the shots connecting. Yeah, but fans are cool, right? It really sounded nice. So then the main event, Conor versus Dustin, and Conor walks out first, of course, because Dustin is higher ranked. So that's a thing you don't see that often, that Conor comes to the cage first. And Dustin second. It was nice, like when then the lights go out and the Irish music hits, and then of course eventually it goes Notorious, and then McGregor walks out. Nice to see it again. I have to admit, I miss arrogant Conor McGregor. It was kind of boring, the lead up to this fight, all nice and humble, like a real martial artist. Like, the hell, I'm not paying for this. I mean, not that I'm paying to watch UFC. Hey, Dana, I'm not streaming. Just saying. But yeah, so that was suspicious. Nice, but just doesn't fit McGregor, right? Poirier, always a nice guy. Can't hate on him. As you remember from my picks last time, and you can see it on Instagram, I picked Poirier. Just saying, I told you so. I told you to bet the house on Poirier. I should have done it. So yeah, the fight, right? So obviously Poirier got overlooked from the media and everybody else before. It's like, oh, Conor after this fight gonna fight Khabib. Is Khabib gonna come back and so on? Everyone just thought Conor's gonna win, and Conor probably too. Right? This last time against Cowboy, easy work, easy money, 40 seconds or something, knockout and so on. So maybe Conor was just too confident, like a year away. And I mean, you've seen it on social media, and everyone is saying he just trains with a yes man and just the people that basically agree with him, and he's sparring with those kids. That's how they call them. And he's not challenging himself anymore. So maybe he just didn't know what's going to happen. And so maybe I was too confident, complacent. Even in the press conference, he didn't seem two-faced. He's like, yeah, I'm content or something like this, right? It's like, yeah, well, happens, move on, let's go again. The last time he lost, I think, he lost to Diaz, or then, yeah, okay, Khabib. But when he lost to Diaz, he was like, okay, I've seen the mistakes, I'm going to adjust, I come back. And then he came back and he won. Yeah, so strange to see him like this. But I think it's not, we shouldn't be just talking about like how surprising Conor was and that it wasn't his day and so on. He said he's in peak physical condition. He said he had a great camp and everything is awesome and he's hungry and it's the best Conor McGregor ever. So if he says it, we should just believe it and should give all the credit in the world to Dustin Poirier, who just put on a really good performance. And it's not like McGregor didn't land anything, right? He checked him quite nicely. You could see it in his face later on. And Dustin said in the press conference that he did get hurt by McGregor. But it was also obvious that he was like, okay, you gave me your best shot. I'm still standing. Let's go. Which was, I think, probably one of the most important moments of the fight when Poirier realized, hey, I can take those shots, well, at least one or two, and still stand and then keep moving forward. And the strategy obviously was really nice, like really well executed by Poirier. Yeah, in the beginning, just like staying away a little bit from McGregor, so that he can't rush in. Then eventually bringing him down, going for the takedown, taking him down, making him a bit more tired, maybe. Even though he didn't do much with the takedown, but at least making McGregor think, oh no, not this again. That was nice. And then in the stand-up, those calf kicks, right? And like in the first round, it didn't look that bad, I think. But I mean, even if it doesn't look bad, you get kicked in the calf, you feel it. In the second round, he turned it on, and you could see the leg. It looked like a balloon, Ariel. I mean, you could see the legs swelling up. So that was just a great game plan. And then when the leg was gone, he just finished him with some really nice boxing against the fence and then just unloading. That was actually kind of nice to see, like, Poirier letting it go, because he's usually so composed, right? And then he's just letting it all out. It was really nice to see. And then, TKO round 2. Great job by Poirier. Great game playing, great execution, stay composed. Everyone thought like he's too complacent and too happy with McGregor's donation. I saw Ella Quinta on social media saying Poirier is mimicking Conor, like even in the face of Conor goes into stance, Poirier goes into stance, Conor goes low, Poirier goes low, and so on. So he's too friendly and he's not in the game, and his mind isn't there. It looked like it was all there. In the press conference, he said, then also after the fight, he turned to DC and said he doesn't enjoy it anymore, he doesn't like it anymore. And in the press conference, he reiterated that and said he's not enjoying the process. He enjoyed the fight once he's in the cage, but he did not enjoy the 2 weeks there, just being in the hotel and doing all those media things the whole time, which is understandable, I think. But it was interesting to see. But he also said he's in his peak right now, and it's not a goodbye or it's not a retirement or anything. He just said, I did not enjoy the process, which I assume should be better once, hopefully, quarantines disappear again at one point and they can have fights in other places, not just in Abu Dhabi or in the Apex, where you maybe still have to quarantine. I'm not sure how it works in the US. So that was interesting. What I found also interesting is that Conor said he wasn't prepared for the calf kicks. Have you watched any MMA fights over the last year or so? Everybody and their grandma is utilizing calf kicks right now. So how can you be surprised if you're the best in the world? Weird thing to say, I believe. But okay. I do think Conor can prep for this, come back, and then probably, win a fight by calf kicks too. But that was a weird thing to say. So what's next now, right? What's next for Conor? He has to come back and then fight probably someone who also lost, maybe Conor versus Hooker. More on this in a second. Conor versus Ferguson would make sense if you just look at the standings. But the media and lots of others are saying Conor versus Nate, third fight trilogy. They're 1-1 right now. Why not? And yeah, that could make sense. I heard Laura Sanko talking about it on Submission Radio. That's why I'm wearing a hat today, by the way, because all those guys and girls on Submission Radio are wearing hats. So I'm like, it's hat time. It explained very well why that would make sense, and I agree. It would be cool because, that's an easy sell. And then if he would win against Nate Diaz, he's right back into in title discussion because it's Conor and he wins. So then he's right back in there, and he might have to fight Poirier for a third time. So that could be interesting. What's with the winner? Like, what's with Poirier? At the press conference, he said he does not want to fight Chandler, and if the UFC wants to make the Chandler fight, then he'd rather sell hot sauce and not fight, because he doesn't think that Chandler would deserve it. And I think his argument is valid. That Chandler just beat a guy that I beat. So why would he now, with one fight in the UFC, while I have 27, 28, why would he get a title shot? He should maybe face Charlie Olives or whoever else, and then the winner gets the shot. But he doesn't see why Chandler would deserve a title shot right away. I think Dana disagrees, but Dana is also really sad right now because the Conor versus Khabib 2 fight is obviously off the table. So he was not in a good mood in the press conference. You could see that. Let's see what happens. I personally think that Charlie Olives would make sense. And Poirier even explained it very well. He said, he knows how it feels to lose. He lost, then he dusted himself off, got back up, and now he's on a winning streak. He's been in the UFC for 10 years or so. He earned the shot now with his performances. Chandler is 1-0, so he might have to prove himself a little bit further. I think then that makes sense. What Poirier said, most things that Poirier said make sense, I believe. I wouldn't mind to see Poirier versus Charles Oliveira. It's not a big sell, I guess, for a mainstream audience because most people don't know Charles Oliveira. But if you look at his latest performances, what else does he have to do to get a title shot, right? And so DP versus Charlie Olives, I'm on board with this. I can see the UFC trying to push for Chandler for a title shot. I can also see that Dustin Poirier is going to say no, like what he said earlier with like the last time they tried to push him into something that he didn't want to do. He just said no. He didn't fight until that McGregor fight happened, right? So he didn't take the Ferguson fight and so on. So I couldn't see Poirier just saying whatever, guys. I'm not doing this. He doesn't deserve it. That's it. So I'm hoping for Charles Oliveira. Then the co-main event. Let's go down the card, right? The co-main event. Dan Hooker versus aforementioned Michael Chandler. And in the picks, I clearly picked Chandler. I did not. That was a weird fight. Not that Chandler isn't good, and I said it in my last video. I said, like, okay, if he wins, no big surprise, and I'm all okay with it, and both nice guys, and so on. But just the way the fight turned out was just surprising to me for several reasons. A, that didn't look like Dan Hooker in there. Maybe he was too confused. He was too much focused on avoiding the takedowns because he expected Chandler to shoot like he usually does. And I mean, he did a good job in like keeping Chandler away in the beginning, but he didn't do anything. Like usually Hooker is an active guy, and so he didn't do anything to Chandler. He didn't try anything. Like I think the first shot that landed was Chandler's too, like to the body, and that was the first shot that actually landed. So that was kind of weird. Maybe Hooker also didn't take Chandler's power too serious. Like, yeah, he's a wrestler. I just keep it standing, and I'm gonna be able to pick him apart later on. And I mean, the knockout looked cool, but it was a typical Chandler. If you've watched any fights of him, that's what he does, right? He goes, either he shoots or he fakes the shoot, and then he lets go like his basic compliment. He even said it himself, like basic stuff with Henry Hooft, like 1, 2, 3 combos. So he goes for the shoot or the fake shoot, and then he throws the 1, 2, 3, and that's it, huh? And if you, it's effective and it's really good at it, but usually all the guys on City Kickboxing with Eugene Behrman, they have like a great game plan and they study the opponent and they know exactly what to do and like how to move away and so on. So it was a bit surprising that Hooker gets caught with a typical Chandler move. So that was really surprising. But yeah, then afterwards the call out by Chandler, of course, was just amazing, right? It was like Ric Flair here. What did he say? He didn't say it with a tear in my eye, but he said like, it's the greatest day of my professional life. And surprise, surprise, so he's quoting Conor there, like, surprise, surprise, Conor, there's a new king in town. And then he called out Conor because he didn't know that Conor would lose. Now, why would he fight Conor after Conor lost? Then he said, Dustin Poirier, your time is up or something like this. And he even called out Khabib, very respectful, like, if you would see fit to return, there's this guy from Massachusetts waiting for you. But like this Ric Flair-esque call out was really nice. So well done. Hats off to Michael Chandler. It was well spoken, but also like really good at promos apparently. So I'm not mad at it. Just mad at Hooker for the performance. Hooker was mad too. He was throwing his glass in the ring. I don't think that means he's retired. I think he was just really pissed at himself in regards to his performance. So what's next for both, right? What's next for Hooker? If Hooker would have won, he would have been in the title contention. Now, I don't know. Hooker Ferguson? Not sure. Maybe, yeah. Both come off of losses. That could make sense. I do think Hooker's going to come back with like 2 or 3 wins in a row and then be in title contention again. This was a surprise. He didn't fight. The short time that it went, right, wasn't great, but it's not like he got dominated or anything. And after the knockout, he was up again. He was just frustrated. You could see it. So I think we see him again, and he's going to dust himself off. Cliche, get better, and then maybe a fight against Ferguson. would bring him back into the limelight, and then maybe 1 or 2 more wins, and he can fight for a title. I mean, that division is so strong right now. It's crazy. For Chandler, Dana said it would make sense to have him against Poirier. Poirier doesn't want that, and I think Chandler looked a little bit surprised when everyone told him, "Hey, we think you're next for a title," and Dana said you might be next for a title. I think it would make sense to give him one more fight. I wouldn't mind to see him against Justin Gaethje. That would be cool, because I really think Charlie Olives would deserve a title fight. So in a perfect MMA world that's fair in regards to your accomplishments, Charles Oliveira gets the next shot against Dustin Poirier. In this case, if Khabib really is out, and then maybe Gaethje could make sense for Chandler. And if Chandler gets past Gaethje, which could happen, but I mean, Gaethje, ever since he's listening to Trevor Whitman, different fighter, so let's see. But yeah, this could be a great fight. So I would love that, to be honest. Yeah, but I mean, welcome Michael Chandler to the UFC. After such a performance, you're allowed to talk a lot of stuff. I was about to say shit. You can talk about you can talk a lot of shit after this. Also, you can say it again. Here for a good time, not for a long time, or not here for a long time, but for a good time, or something like this. Okay, enough of those 2 main events. What else did we have? We had Jessica Evil Eye versus Joe and Calderwood. JoJo, domination by JoJo. Yeah, pure Muay Thai skills there. It was really cool to see. Those cheeks to the leg, to the stomach, to the leg, to the leg, to the leg. Then the combos that she fired, and then every single time on the break she throws a kick, like either a kick to the body or a kick to the head. And Jessica, I never tried anything like this. When they were in the clinch, I was a bit surprised that she got a good clinch, but I thought JoJo would have a better clinch, but I was really good in the clinch at the infight. But every time they would break, I would be like, yeah, okay, let's just break. And JoJo would just throw something, which is just what you learn in Muay Thai training, right? Every time you move away, just keep throwing. Like the one who lands the last exchange gets the point. So there was just a good job by JoJo, dominated. Congratulations, well done. What's next? I mean, she said she wants Valentina because, I mean, she had the title fight, and then Valentina got injured, and then JoJo took a different fight, and then she lost, and so on. So, I mean, she probably deserves it. Not mad about it. Not sure if she can hang with Valentina, but I mean, we have to see, right? So I'm all for it. I really want subtitles for the next interview, though. I'm sorry. That's me being German. I just can't figure out that Scottish accent. I'm sorry. But great fight, though. We had Sanchez versus Muradov. I'm sorry for mispronouncing it. That went exactly the way it was supposed to go. And that mullet, Mr. Sanchez, your mullet has to go. So Sanchez, he looked way smaller than Muradov. Did a good job in between to like keep him away, but Muradov, just his game plan worked out perfectly. In the beginning, he went surprisingly for lots of like head stuff, like punches to the head, kicks to the head, and so on. And as the time passed, as the rounds moved on, he then went for the body. That's what we've seen in this last fight, the only fight I've seen, to be honest. And it's also then what helped him set up the finish in the end, late finish in the 3rd round. Great job, though, like very well done. It was funny because the stoppage happened when we saw the corner cam for Sanchez corner, and you can hear the coach saying something along the lines like, I don't like that this right hand is just always swishing by, like barely misses. So he felt like it's close to landing, and then it landed and ended the fight. Well done by Muradov. He then jumped over the cage, like talked to Dana, like, hey, Dana, why don't you follow me on Instagram? Dana said, okay, he's going to follow him now. And then he even apologized for jumping. Said, sorry for jumping. So nice guy, it seems. Nice interview at the end, too. So all good. Looking forward to what he's going to do next. One more, and I really don't want to talk about it because Mariana Rodriguez versus Amanda Ribas. Amanda. No, what happened there? I mean, the striking performance by Mariana Rodriguez was just much better, dominant, obviously. She overpowered, outstruck Amanda Ribas, and had her down. And then Herb Dean came really close. So Mariana Rodriguez thought he's going to call it, but he didn't tap on her shoulder or anything. So he didn't call it. He was just really close, moving like he would call it any second. So then she moved away and he said, I didn't stop it yet. So then he was like, kind of got up again. And instead of complaining, Rodriguez said, all right, gonna knock her out again. Came in, fired a few more shots, elbow, shot. And then he was standing KO, and then Herb Dean called it. So there was just a dominant performance by Rodriguez. Can't be mad at it. Just disappointed. But she was ahead in the ranking, so it's not it's a huge surprise, right? So good job, well done. Looking forward to what she will do next. I think she was like she's 7 or 8 or something, so she's gonna move up the rankings now and should get closer to a contender fight, I believe. And oh yeah, I forgot the last fight that I wanted to mention: Dana versus the streamer. Did you see the press conference? I think he got like one question about like what's with the guy that you were observing, and he took out his phone and he's like acting like he got like messages from the FBI or the CIA or whatever. And yeah, this guy that we were observing, he made an announcement that his stream is not streaming anymore, and then he made like an announcement of how to buy the UFC pay-per-views legally, and he's not going to stream anymore. That's what he said. So one down, lots of them to go. Let's go. Uh-huh. This is not how the internet works. And I mean, yeah, cool. Congratulations. If it makes you happy, keep believing. I do have to say that, and I don't want to be Brandon Shaw, but I've seen changes in the way streamers are distributing links now. But that's all I have, all I'm saying, because again, I'm not Brandon Shaw. So that's about it. Luckily, I don't have to stream here in Thailand because it's on free TV. So whatever happens over there in the States, I don't really care, but it's really entertaining to follow. All right, then the next UFC event is going to be, let me cheat and look, UFC Fight Night Overeem versus Volkov. February 7th, so predictions will be up next week. So check back next week. Okay, that's enough UFC for now. Let's also quickly talk about ONE Championship Unbreakable. When will they run out of those weird names? But now they already add numbers because next week is going to be ONE Unbreakable 2, 3, 4, 5, 27. Okay, so what did we have here? And I do have to look at my notes a little bit because it was not that amazing. And I'm not a hater for ONE Championship. I like that we have events here in Asia, so I would love to see more cool events. But it really looks like they're running out of people because it's like sometimes they just throw people in there that you have never heard before, and I don't know, blow up the records, I guess. But there's just the class differences are just so obvious. Like, for example, the main event, right? Kapitan Pechindi Academy from Thailand versus the champion, and the champion was Alaverdi, babyface killer Ramasanov. When you look at the highlights from the babyface killer, what a interesting nickname. Look at the highlights of the babyface killer. He has had some flashy moves in his highlight videos. But you can also see from this fight that he probably hasn't faced the toughest of competition yet. Because, I mean, while people living in Thailand and following Muay Thai know Kapitan Pechindi Academy, and for those wondering what's with this weird last name, lots of Muay Thai fighters, they take the gym's name as their last name. So that's why he has his nickname as his first name, Kapitan. That's not his real name, it's his nickname. Strange nicknames. But then Pechindi Academy is a famous Muay Thai gym here. You've seen probably different fighters from the gym already if you keep following ONE Championship. There's a very famous Muay Thai gym here. And Kapitan is a accomplished Muay Thai fighter, Lumpini champion, and so on. So he fought and won in some of the most famous stadiums here and won the titles there. So he's a really good fighter and really tough, as most Thai champions are. And I mean, they just didn't care about the Ramasanov. I'm not saying his nickname anymore. He didn't care about what Ramasanov had to offer. Even though Ramasanov was taller, also Ramasanov did not look like he's in shape. Like, what the hell? If you're the champion, how dare you get into the cage looking like this? Like, really? And he's wearing those white, not white, but wide Venom shorts, those board shorts. Like, dude, that's not, you're not sparring in your Pattaya Venom gym here. It's a world title fight. Well, Capitan just marched him down and just hurt him, and he ended it with a low kick. Like, what? I mean, yes, it obvious. I mean, he would kill me if he would kick me once, obviously. But if you are the world champion and you get taken out by like one leg kick, like, what? Disappointing. It was really disappointing. In all respect to Capitan, and congratulations. Again, you would kill me, so please don't. But like, for a world champion to go down like this, really disappointing. I don't think that he landed anything remarkable on Capitan. So yeah, and Capitan, well, he didn't even have to do anything fancy or like try to avoid anything. He was just marching forward, and Ramasanov was just walking backwards the whole time. I mean, he had one spinning back kick also, I believe. That's it. So that was disappointing. KO at 156 of round 2. At lightweight, at least there was a fighter that I like, Shinya Aoki, because he's like 127 years old, and he defeated James Nakashima. And so while Shinya Aoki is a legend and respect to one of the GOATs, like, they hailed it like it's like such a incredible masterpiece. I mean, he defeated James Nakashima. And again, no hate towards James Nakashima, but most of the times you see James Nakashima in the ONE Championship ring cage, whatever, he's not on the winning end. Just saying. So, yeah. But I mean, Shinya Aoki doing Shinya Aoki things. So, yeah, submission, neck crank, which was, by the way, yeah, okay. Good job, Shinya Aoki. We had a heavyweight bout between Rade Opacic and Bruno Susano. And like round 2 TKO at like 1 minute, and Susano, I don't know who it is, to be honest, just walked away, just turned around and just kept walking, and then the referee just had to wave it off. Yeah, the competition is great at ONE. We had another bout at welterweight, and I have to again read it. Gatsimurad Abdullayev versus the former champion Sebastian the Bandit Kadestam. How did he become champion? This is the question here. Submission by a face crank. I mean, it obviously hurts, but yeah, it's just, Okay. Then there was a women's fight, Meng Bo versus Samara Marituba Santos. And yeah, that was a UD, so no submission, no KO in this case. Meng Bo was just throwing everything she had at Santos, outclassed her clearly. Yeah, so there was no doubt about it. That looked really bad for Santos. At strawweight, we had this last bout that I'm going to talk about, Lito Thunderkid Ariwang, featuring Namiki Kawahara, and Ariwang with the super mullet here. Respect. That's a Filipino thing by now, isn't it? I think, because there are a few doing this, I believe. KO, 2 minutes of round 2, and there was a one, like, I think it was a jab, actually. Was it a left jab that set him down, and then the ref waved it off, and that's it. So, don't get me wrong, respect, and again, well done, but like a one shot at strawweight. Like, I mean, it's not that as a strawweight you usually have that much power in. I really think it was the left jab. I think it was a left punch. I think it was orthodox left jab. I think, if I'm mistaken, I'm sorry. But you can see And I'm not hating on the winner, of course. Congratulations, you do what you're supposed to do, but you can see that like the difference in just skills is just really outmatched. And again, I'm not hating on ONE Championship. I want to have more fights here in Asia because I live here, so I wanted to grow and to be successful. But I also want to see fights that are really evenly matched. That would be really nice. But I'm assuming right now during the pandemic, it's just difficult to fly people around and get everyone involved into the right places. So maybe that's the reason. But maybe you also don't need to have an event like every 2 days. Just saying. Speaking of events every 2 days, next event this coming Friday. So let's run quickly through the card. And the main event is a heavyweight championship bout, I believe, between Mauro Cirilli, then who we know, who got set down back then by our version of The Rock, Brenton the Truth Bearer. And he's facing, I'm tuning in, Abdulbasir Vagabov, who doesn't even have a picture on the ONE Championship homepage. What are you doing? Seriously. I mean, he's fighting in the main event and he doesn't even get a picture. Oh, Lord. We then have Takenawa versus Delfino. So my tip, I guess, I'm picking the guy with the picture. I'm guessing Cirilli does that. I'm simply assuming it's going to be another knockout. We have Takenaka versus Delfino. I only know Delfino here, so I would go for him. But again, there's no merit to my picks. We have Chen Rui, who I saw before, versus Kwon Won Il. I'm not sure if I've seen him before, so no picks here. Ketchovic versus Isaev. Also, honestly, no idea. Then we have Sovanari M, representing Cambodia and the States, and I've seen her before. I also follow her on social media because there's some really cool workouts. So if you looking for someone cool to follow her on Instagram. I think Instagram is @NaryM, NAHRYEM, versus Choi Cheng Yun, who I don't know. I'm sorry, so I'm going for the one that I know. The one fight that I saw before was really, she lost, but she put it all out there, like high volume output. If I remember correctly, so that was nice. So I'm going with her, and I am hoping to see something similar that I saw in the last fight that I watched, which is a long time ago, to be fair. But I hope she simply goes at it like last time. And then at heavyweight, Mr. Social Media, Mr. ONE Championships social media persona number one, Alan Nalani. I'm sorry for mispronouncing it, but you all know him because he's the one that's on every other social media post by ONE Championship, doing the splits and backflips and so on. Faces Umar Kane, because it's from Senegal, so it's not Kane, I guess. So Kane. I only remember Alain losing, to be honest, even though he's in every other social media post by ONE Championship. He's also 70, 80 years old by now. And Umar looks scary. So I don't know what to expect here. Let's hope for Alain that he gets it done so that he can continue his social media posts on ONE Championship and maybe gets another split or backflip thingy in here. But yeah, excitement level for this event. I am looking forward to all those fights in March and April with Mighty Mouse, though. And is Sage coming back? When is Sage coming back? ONE Championship. What about Sage? What about Colby? What about all the Americans? About the Underground King? You've got them all on the roster. Use them. That would be nice. So I'm waiting for all of those because that's going to be really fun, and I'm going to have some serious prediction and analysis videos for that, I promise. So not only making fun of ONE Championship, only when they deserve it. And I think they do deserve it for Unbreakable and Unbreakable 2. All right. That's about it. Let me know if you enjoyed ONE Championship, because every time I'm controversial, I get messages on Twitter like, then don't watch it, and how dare you, and do it better, and things like this. So I'm just saying this because I would like to have better fights, because again, I live here and for them to be successful. So let me know what you think about all those things. And also let me know what you think about UFC 257, Dustin, Chandler, JoJo, Amanda, and so on. All right, that's it for now. See you next time. Take care.